Hello, judges. My name is Kyle Townsley, and I'm the Assistant Director of Judicial Relations for the LSU Law Center's Board of Advocates. Today we're going to go through a brief presentation that gives you a little information about the case, the rules of the competition, and your role as a judge. Thank you all for volunteering your time to judge this fall's Ira S. Flory Trial Advocacy Competition. Your time judging is greatly appreciated by the competitors, the Board of Advocates, and LSU Law. This year's case is a very interesting one. It's a murder for hire. Conrad Grayson is charged with solicitation for the murder of Victoria Grayson, his wife. Frankie Stevens, the landscaper, admitted to killing Victoria by hitting her in the head with a hammer and pushing her into the pool. Stevens pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to life imprisonment in the Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola. He says Conrad paid him $35,000 to kill Victoria. Conrad Grayson was having an affair with his and Victoria's neighbor, Lydia Davis. Conrad claims he was with Lydia Davis the night of the murder at a local hotel, which she corroborates. Conrad says Davis found Victoria in the pool when they returned home. The charge against Conrad is solicitation for murder, which is the intentional solicitation by one person of another to commit or cause to be committed a second-degree murder. Second-degree murder is the killing of a human being when the offender has specific intent to kill or inflict great bodily harm. Both the prosecution and defense will call two witnesses. The prosecution will call Lieutenant Jack Porter and Frankie Stevens. The defense will call Lydia Davis and Conrad Grayson. There are several interesting exhibits that may be presented during the course of the trial. All exhibits are stipulated to as authentic, but not necessarily admissible. You will have a copy of the rules, and it is in your discretion to moderate the trial, which includes admitting or not admitting pieces of evidence. Exhibit 7 is an interesting exhibit. It's a text conversation between Conrad Grayson and Frankie Stevens. Exhibit 8 is a check between Conrad Grayson and Stevens Landscape Design for $35,000. Also interesting is Exhibit 12, which are social media posts from Frankie Stevens. It is important to note that several rules apply in the Flory competition that may not be the normal practice at trials. Under Rule 2.3, teams cannot present any motions to the court prior to the beginning of trial. Competitors can discuss housekeeping matters such as the swearing of witnesses, use of the well, sequestration, etc. with the presiding judge before the trial begins. If the prosecuting team would like to make a rebuttal closing argument, such a request must be made during housekeeping. Competitors cannot discuss substantive or procedural law during the housekeeping matters period. Under Rule 2.4, competitors cannot give judges written or marked materials. Competitors may only use enlargements coming directly from the case file or a whiteboard to write or draw upon as demonstratives. Competitors cannot create new demonstratives outside of the courtroom that aren't in the trial ad packet. Competitors cannot create facts not included in the packet. Competitors also cannot make objection that the facts are outside of the case file. If such an objection is made, then the judge should deny the objection. Your job as a judge is to assign scores based on the performance of the attorneys and to moderate the trial. You will rate the individual presentations of each attorney's opening or closing statement, direct and cross-examination on a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Please review the general scoring rubric, which assigns categories of excellent, above average, average, below average, and poor before scoring competitors. You are evaluating the students solely on their trial advocacy skills, technique, and style, not on who would win the case if this were a real trial. Your scoring packet also includes places to comment and the skill considerations for each portion of the trial to aid you in judging. At the conclusion of the trial, please ask students to step outside of the courtroom while you total the scores. Give the score sheet to the timekeeper and have students go back into the room for your critique. Your critique should be brief and targeted toward their trial advocacy skills. The critiques are important for constructive and informative learning. Please let the students know what they did well and what could use improvement. Also, please do not tell students who won the trial. Although it is up to you whether to sustain or overrule objections and admit evidence, please be fair to students and let them present their case. For many students, this is their first time to be in a courtroom-like setting, so your careful listening and commentary is very important to these students. In your packet, you will find a copy of the case file, competition rules, the score sheet, and a short packet with evidence rules. Please review the score sheet before you allow the trial to begin and double check that this first page is filled out properly. Thank you again for volunteering as a judge for the Flory competition. The Board of Advocates truly appreciates your commitment to the education of young attorneys at LSU Law. Thank you.